don't know what kind of person I would be if I didn't go and do everything I've done. I remember just being in pain because I had such a bad headache, and then I woke up a week later in the hospital and had no idea. But apparently I was like screaming in pain. They took me into the hospital, and I remember being in this like white space, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. It was like very peaceful, where I like wasn't in my body or like in some spiritual realm. I don't know how to explain it, but it felt like I could have let go and been peaceful and been fine. I've always carried that kind of like knowing like what the feeling is of dying. So I'm like, okay, I've been there already. Stuff doesn't scare me as much. I think it's natural to be scared, but I think it's more you have a sense of like, okay, I need to be brave.
Why the would I buy meal prep? If I have to do the work, I'm paying you to do the work. You're gonna make me cook it? Fucking sit there, put a tablespoon of avocado. ChatGPT, what's the difference between teaspoon and tablespoon? Like, I'm sitting like a fucking idiot trying to make this food.
I do have a whole box of power tools, yeah. But I did that and like had a window installed on the side, so there's like a sliding window. I don't tell many people I lived in a van. Guys
care about looking like they have the hottest girl in the room.
If you're with a true masculine man, it's easy. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be like, why isn't he doing this, this, and this? You're like, oh, okay, I'm good. A rejection, you can do one of two things. You can either be like wallowing in your self-pity, or you can go the other way and like, okay, well then I'm gonna work on myself so that doesn't happen again. Obviously, the people you surround yourself with are so important. If you have a goal set in your mind, you're more likely to along the way make the choices that lead you up to the house that you got. And you could say, I manifested it, but really, in a logical sense, what you did is you got a better job. You went to college to get a degree. You made these things. Maybe you made these business transactions to get the money to get the house. Like, but because you set that goal in your mind, like, I'm gonna get that.
Welcome to Unattainable. Glad to have you with us. I'm your host, Zach Evans, here with my co-host, Mohammed Molay. And we have a special guest on the show today. This is Kendra. Kendra, why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself to the audience. Name, what you do, and your star sign.
Sure, yeah. I'm Kendra Shoemaker. I am a fashion and fitness model. I'm also a talk show host, and I'm an Aquarius.
I know all about you guys.
Really?
Fun, but bad for my mental health.
Really?
Dangerous, yeah.
That's funny. I don't know much about zodiac signs, but all I'm told is whenever I say I'm an Aquarius, everyone's like, oh, so you're very creative. I'm like...
They're lying
yes.
to you. Yeah. Toxic is the word that they mean. They say creative as like a stand-in for toxic. Yeah,
That's fair. I feel like any guy that I've dated who's Aquarius is emotional. So I don't know.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Pisces, so
Pisces, okay.
Used to be toxic back in my villain era. But,
so that means you're...
No, I'm a recovering fuckboy, yeah.
So are you born in March? Is that Pisces?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So it's coming up soon.
Yeah. Come to my birthday party.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Awesome.
That was a real invitation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What are you?
Guess. Not that you know much about me, so it's going to be probably
Are you
shooting in the
Cancer?
dark. No.
A Libra?
No.
Okay. I'm tapping out.
Okay. What's the best sign in your mind?
A Sagittarius?
Why?
I don't know.
You just
I think
made
people
it up?
I've met that say they're Sagittarius are cool. I don't know.
Who do you know is a Sagittarius?
Some of my friends.
Some
of my really good friends are Sagittarius.
You just attract a lot of Sagittarius.
I guess. I don't know.
What are you in a relationship?
No.
Have you ever been in a relationship?
Yep. Yeah.
What signs were they?
That's a good question.
You don't know.
I think one of them was a Sagittarius.
He might have been.
Do you know their birthdays?
December. So yeah, that was Sagittarius, right?
Well, it depends. Capricorn.
Halfway through December. Like the 15th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I'm assuming that went well. Do you like him?
That
Did
was
you
like
like him
my
at the
very
time?
first boyfriend, so that was a while.
How old
ago.
were you?
I was 18.
Oh, okay. And how long did you guys date?
Like a year and a half. Yeah.
Wait, how old are you again?
Guess.
You didn't say it?
Oh, you didn't say your sign.
No, I'm just wondering
fair,
if you said it in the beginning.
No, I didn't.
Okay. That's what I was thinking. You look like you're 23.
Okay. I'm 26.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah.
You seem older than you look.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's like it's very confusing. I'm like, do we talk about like investing or like, flip over the water bottle, see if we can get it to land on the thing for TikTok, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I have been out pretty much on my own since I was 16, so I think I grew up really fast.
Okay.
Well, I'm still really close with my parents, but I moved out when I was 16 to go to a ballet school.
Interesting.
So I went to Pennsylvania and I was dancing at a pre-professional ballet academy.
Nice.
So I did that for 2 years and danced in Pennsylvania and Boston.
Was that scary leaving your hometown so early?
No, I'm from a tiny town.
Okay.
So I grew up in a town of like 600 people.
Okay.
And everyone's so nice in Minnesota, but it's kind of like cornfields. We grew up like in the prairie, basically, which was gorgeous to grow up because we got to be outside a lot. But I'm always like so adventurous, so I wanted to like go out. And I was so passionate about ballet at the time, so I was like, I need to go.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
In Wisconsin, it's very much the same.
Yeah.
I go back to Wisconsin, I see like my old high school friends and like, y'all are going to the same bowling alley that we went to when I was a junior in high school.
Yeah.
Like some of them have never been on a plane. I just want to like shake them.
Like,
just, step out of your comfort zone for
somewhere.
like 2 seconds and like try some sushi maybe.
Yeah.
Like, raw fish. Like,
There's
what do you
spicy
mean?
food that exists.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And like half my relatives are like, oh my God, you live in Hollywood?
Yeah.
Did you see Brad Pitt like at the grocery store? Like they think everybody in LA is like a celebrity. Like
So
it's
funny.
crazy.
Yeah. I have some friends and totally understand like if you are from somewhere and you love it and you're with your family, that's great. But it's like they grew up in the same town, went to college, and now they're like probably gonna live there the rest of their life. And I'm like, I don't know what kind of person I would be if I didn't go and do everything I've done.
But what like about you and your experiences made you like want and like gave you that drive to like, okay, I want to have an adventure, go out on my own? Because you seem very adventurous. You seem like you don't give a fuck. You just travel where you want to go.
Yeah.
Like what about your upbringing made you want to do that?
That's interesting. This might get deep really fast.
Let's go.
When I was 7, I got really sick. And I had lacrosse encephalitis, which you get from a mosquito bite. And it's like a disease that swells your brain. And it hits young children like the hardest. So I remember just being in pain because I had such a bad headache. And then I woke up a week later in the hospital and had no idea. But apparently I was like screaming in pain. They took me into the hospital. And I remember being in this like white space, if that makes sense. It was like very peaceful where I like wasn't in my body or like in some spiritual realm. I don't know how to explain it, but it felt like I could have let go and been peaceful and been fine. But then I woke up and I felt like there was a reason I was brought back and I didn't let go. And I feel like I was 7 years old and I had fully comprehended what it was like to die. And so I just felt like the world, I'm here, I have another chance. And at 7 years old, and I just felt like I need to go do something, I need to explore. And I feel like that, I've always carried that kind of like knowing like what the feeling is of dying. So I'm like, okay, I've been there already. Stuff doesn't scare me as much, if that makes sense.
No, it comes through on your energy. It comes through on, I don't know, just the way you kind of act. You seem to have this very free-spirited yet kind of confident in a way side of you that's just very, I think a lot of people would be kind of jealous of it.
I appreciate
almost, you know
that.
what I mean? Yeah. But then it's interesting. So when I was growing up, like when I was a kid, I remember thinking that like nothing bad can actually happen. Like I just thought like, oh, you're sick, the doctor just fixes it. Like that's how it works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I never had any even perception. Like I had to have surgery when I was like in 5th grade or something. And like, I didn't even have a thought in my mind like, oh, this could go wrong and I could like die tomorrow.
No,
or
that's
something.
crazy, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you seem to like have come through it with not a lot of trauma, almost the opposite.
Yeah, I guess more like like drive to like keep going,
Mm-hmm.
I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
And there was definitely times where it was hard because my brain was swollen, so it took a few years for like that to heal. So I would have sensitivity to like lights or loud sounds when I was a kid, especially that first like 6 months after that.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, yeah, I was lucky to come out of it and be healthy because the doctors had told my parents like, oh, if you hadn't brought her in, she could have like passed in her sleep.
Crazy.
Type thing, because it's like that serious. But
Mm-hmm.
and it's from a mosquito bite,
Yeah.
so like you don't even think about stuff like that.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
my dad got Lyme's disease because he got bit by a tick and he didn't like notice it.
That's
and, like,
insane.
He was like out of commission for like 3 months. He thought he had the flu and he was like, it's not going away. And it's like, it's just so bizarre how like you could do nothing wrong and just the universe is just like,
Yeah,
you know.
I know. And I think if I'm correct, the year that it happened, there's only 2 people in Minnesota that got it.
Crazy.
And I was like one of them. So it just never happens.
Uh-huh.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we grew up like near a forest, so there were trees. I think that's why. Mosquitoes.
Yeah, definitely that's the reason you got it, because of the
That's why.
trees for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
You said you're no longer scared of anything in life.
Well, I think it's natural to be scared, but I think it's more you have a sense of like, okay, I need to be brave.
You're willing to take more risks.
Yeah.
So what's the craziest thing you've done?
Well, that's a good question. Like, in what sense?
In any sense that you felt in yourself that you were the bravest you could have been.
I went to an outdoor college when I was 18. I took a break from dancing.
You said what?
An outdoor school.
What does that mean?
So it was a college where all their classes were outside.
I figured that's probably what it was, but why is that?
So we would go on like 30-day backpacking trips or like
Okay.
30-day river rafting
Got it.
trips.
Okay, that makes sense.
And so maybe but it was kind of cool because we got to just experience like living outside. I don't know if that makes sense.
How long did you do that for?
Just a semester.
So like 3 months?
Yeah.
And so every single class, and how many days a week was it?
Well, we would come to campus and stay on campus for 2 weeks, and then we'd go on like a 10-day backpacking trip on the north rim of the Grand Canyon. But we'd be learning.
So it's 2 weeks indoors
And then
10 days outdoors.
Yeah, so kind of like that. But then sometimes it was like 30 days backpacking, and then we'd come back. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Fascinating. You must have learned a lot about being...
Yeah, just like you learn a lot about being human, I think.
So is that now one of your criterias to date somebody who is outdoorsy?
That's funny. 'Cause
Like if they don't know how to make fire without a fucking lighter?
It's funny because that's not my type at all. Because I know what you're talking about.
What's your type?
People that are driven, probably businessmen. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So like rich people.
No, not necessarily, but somebody that's passionate and driven and has their shit together.
You got to be careful about that. I got scammed.
Really?
Yeah.
In what way?
Okay, have you ever heard of HelloFresh?
The food.
It's like a meal delivery
Yeah,
service. So I don't know how to cook, right? Like even the microwave, I'm like, which buttons do I press? It's like, I just like hop in the BMW, go to Catch, get a steak that's been prepared by a fucking dude his whole life is just making steaks, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me get like this meal delivery service. It can do all the work for me. I can still be healthy, blah, blah, blah. So I get the 20 meal pack. It's like the biggest meal pack. I open up the first thing and I was like, oh shit, they fucked up. It's just ingredients in there. Like it's not even cooked.
Yeah.
And I open up the second one, same thing. So I'm on the phone with support. I'm like, yo, you fucked up. Like none of these are cooked. And they're like, yeah, you have to cook them. And I was like, why the fuck would I buy meal prep? If I have to do the work, I'm paying you to do the work. You're gonna make me cook it? Fucking sit there, put a tablespoon of avocado. ChatGPT, what's the difference between teaspoon and tablespoon? Like I'm sitting like a fucking idiot trying to make this food. So it's like for girls, I never understand like, why would you want somebody who's the ingredients when there are already guys who are the final product? Like they're already medium rare steak. You can taste it, you can say, yum, I like this taste. Or you can say, oh, this doesn't taste good. versus like some dude with like, don't worry, babe, my Bitcoin Uber app for dogs is totally gonna pop off soon.
I guess, but you can date a successful business person. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Like someone who's already made it, not someone who's like, yeah, someday I'm gonna make it. Don't worry, babe. You won't have to fly middle seat on Spirit too much longer. Seat 77F.
Spirit. Oh my gosh.
Fucking got the pilot off Craigslist 2 weeks ago.
He just passed his final test.
Yeah, I feel like girls fall into this trap, especially in LA, because there's so many guys who are, saying they're Drake's manager or the owner of this club, or I work with DJ blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
That's funny. Yeah, I could see that. Maybe I haven't lived here long enough to run into much of that.
Oh, just you wait. You gonna see the scum of the earth here. Yeah, in a good way. Yeah.
How long have you been in LA?
Like 6 months.
Okay, so you're like brand new.
Yeah, I just moved here from Hawaii.
Okay, cool. And how long were you there?
I was in Hawaii like 2 years, but I was living in California before that. So I was in Orange County and Santa Barbara.
Why are you all over the place?
Like, what do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean? Like, why are you going from one place to the other?
I don't know.
In such a short amount of time.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time like living different places. Like I lived in Boston also.
Well, we established you're jumping from one place to the other.
I
what
suppose.
is the reason?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you got to get out of Minnesota somehow and figure out what.
Well, you got to get out of one place once.
Wait, say that again?
I said you got to get out of one place once.
Yeah, and so I left Minnesota and I was on the East Coast, Pennsylvania.
So you went to Boston.
I was in Pennsylvania, and then I went to.
Okay, so from Minnesota you went to Pennsylvania
to the ballet school. I danced there.
And how long were you there?
2.5 years.
Okay, and how old were you? 18 at that?
16.
Okay, so 16 to 18 you were in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And then from Pennsylvania you went to Boston.
I went to Arizona.
Oh dear Jesus.
To the school, the outdoor school.
And how long were you in Arizona for?
3 months.
Okay. And then from Arizona you went to.
Then I went to Santa Barbara. And then I went to.
Wait, how long were you there?
A year.
Okay.
And then I went to Boston for 4 months.
For what?
To dance for a season.
Okay.
And then I went back to Santa Barbara.
For what?
There was a ballet company out there that invited me out there, and then COVID happened.
Sure.
And then I was in Santa Barbara, and then I moved on to Orange County.
For what?
Well, I was living in. Well, during COVID, I built out a van conversion. That was like my little project. So I was living in it in Santa Barbara. And then I moved down to Orange County.
With it?
Yes. And I was living in it in Orange County. And then I was surfing. I started doing school online.
Wait, don't skip over you lived in a van?
Yeah.
Fuck?
I did. Yes.
See, this is what happens when you date ambitious guys. Yeah, you end up living in a van.
Yeah, I bought a brand new Ram ProMaster in 2020 during COVID.
Am I supposed to know what that is?
It's like a Sprinter van.
Oh, so it's like a big one.
It's a big van, yeah. And
What year was it, you said?
I bought it in 2020.
What year
was
the
a
car?
2019. So it was
so it wasn't
like
too bad.
10 months old when I bought it. And it used to be an enterprise rental vehicle. And I found it used. So I completely cleaned it. And I just went on YouTube tutorials and like built it out. So it's like insulated, has like the floor, the bed, like cabinets, and my surfboards are on the ceiling.
But like by bed, you mean you put a mattress in there, or do you like?
No, I built it.
You built like took like
I bought power.
like...
No. I bought power tools. I got a drill and a saw. Circular saw. I built everything. Shit. And the bed is made out of refurbed kitchen cabinets. So I bought actually new kitchen cabinets from Home Depot. And I installed them. My brother helped me install them into the floor, and then we like cut them down and like built a bed frame on it. So
I feel like you would date a guy, and he'd be like, "Babe, I got like a new cabinet. Can you put it together for me? Like, can you read the instructions?" And, like,
I do have a whole box of power tools, yeah. But I did that and like had a window installed in the side, so there's like a sliding window. I don't tell many people I lived in a van.
Welcome.
Well, now the world is gonna know.
So, okay.
You better share the clip once we post it.
Did you was there AC? Like, did you have to leave the car on, like, if it was hot?
No,
overnight?
but I would sleep by the beach, so I would
So it was always
just
kinda cold.
crack the windows and the sliding window. But from the outside, it just looks like a utility vehicle. So I'd park in, like, neighborhoods by, like, nice houses. I think no one even knew I was in there.
Probably not.
They probably like, oh, there's Steve's plumber van
Yeah,
or something.
probably. And they saw the power tools in
Steve's
the back.
plumber at 2 a.m. just hanging out with the wife of Steve.
Oh my gosh, yeah, but it was fun.
So, did you ever take like a guy back to your van? Like, hey, like you met a nice guy at the bar. You're like, oh man, this guy's hot. You want to come back to my van?
Yeah, but I would only date surfers.
So they
for a
probably
while.
liked it.
Yeah, they were probably like, this is sick.
Yeah, I could
Because
see
it's
that.
like, when do you see a girl doing something like that?
Wait, you had sex in the van?
I'm not going to talk about that.
The neighbors just see it going up and down.
No comment.
Okay,
crazy.
so you go back to you go to Orange County, you drive down, and then you stay there for how long? For what?
For like a year.
For what?
I was working at a restaurant.
Okay.
And just living in the van and living.
But what was the purpose of going to Orange County?
To get away from my ex-boyfriend.
Why did you have to get away from your ex-boyfriend?
You know those types of relationships where like you break up, but then you keep running into them everywhere, and you just can't move on. Have you had?
Like he was following your van?
No, like Santa Barbara's a smaller town for California, and we liked very similar things. So I would run into him at like the beach or like.
So he was a surfer and was going to the same spot. Okay.
So I would see him, and I just was like, I cannot keep living in a place where I keep running into him because I cannot move on. So
because you were in love with him still.
Yeah.
Okay. And how long were you guys together?
Like 2 years.
When did you break up? He cheated on you?
No, it was just, I don't think he was ready for a relationship, and he was going through some hard things. So
How old was he?
He was older. I was 21 at the time, and I think he was 27.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
Is that the oldest you've dated?
No.
Why are you smiling?
This is a question. I don't know. I've dated someone older than that.
What's the oldest you've dated?
Like 40? I don't know.
You don't know how old they were?
Like something, or like somewhere around there, like
Okay.
39, 40.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay, obviously you're fine with that.
Yeah, I would say.
That's pretty normal.
Yeah.
I feel like you're saying it like it's like you like don't want to say it or something. But no, it's interesting. So when I had my company in the modeling industry, it was like we called it hot guy phase, because like whenever like new models like 18, 19, 20 like kind of come on the scene, it's like they're always dating like young hot guy, and they're all like the same person. Like they all have the same like TikTok hair and like little dangly little fucking dangly cross earring they got off of Temu. Like there was like Star Wars Attack of the Clones. Like they all look the same, right?
Yeah.
It was like, oh, I don't know if it's that girl's boyfriend or that girl. Like it was very confusing. But the most like beautiful girls, every time when they're 22, 23, 24, they'd always bring some guy that's like if he dropped off your UPS package, you'd be like, that makes sense. But they were always extremely successful or charismatic or mature, just had their shit together.
Yeah.
And it's almost like they got bored of like how long can I like look at this six pack for before I fucking get bored and I lose my mind. I need someone that's actually like funny and intellectually stimulating and smart and like actually can teach me something about life versus just some dude with like 3 brain cells rattling around in his skull, but like you can like iron your clothes on his abs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like you can be cute and attractive, but that's not enough.
Yeah.
Most of the time. It's like, okay, are you mature? Can we carry a good conversation? Mm-hmm. Which is usually like a bit older, just from a girl's perspective.
Because guys mature later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
You seem like you like surfer guys a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think very similar energy, adventurous.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I think also when I was younger, that was more what I was attracted to.
Is height important?
Height?
Yeah.
I'm kind of tall for a girl.
You are.
Yeah, I would say. So I think, yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't blame you. I think it's weird kissing up. You know what I mean? Like if I had to kiss up, like, hey babe, I feel fucking weird. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, one of this girl that I know, she's like, I think she's 6 foot. She's either 5'11" or 6 foot. And she always like comes to me with like her boy problems, right? Mm-hmm. And she's always would date like NBA players, basketball players, just because they were like, 6'5" and above. And so one day she's like, Zach, I'm so sick of dating these fuck boys. I don't care about height and looks and all this stuff. I just want like a guy with a great personality, blah, blah, blah. So she starts dating this guy who's like 5'7".
So shorter than.
So her with heels, like she's like towering over him like Shrek. Yeah.
Said, oh my gosh.
Yeah, like it's like they just didn't look good as a unit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I saw them kiss one time. It was like the dwarves trying to conquer the mountain in Lord of the Rings. Like it was like they just didn't look good as a unit,
Yeah.
And I met the guy, super cool, successful, good looking, like really good looking, like facially, just kind of like short. Mm-hmm. And I was like, yo, is like Dave coming out tonight? And she's like, yeah, so what happened to him? I was like, what happened? So apparently she had a couple glasses of wine and he comes over and she said she opened the door and she gave him a big hug and she was kind of tipsy. So she picked him up and she spun him around and she watched his little legs go like this. That's what she said.
Oh my
gosh. She was like, I lost all
like,
respect
I can't do it
in that moment.
That's funny.
And I'm like, I get it. Like I feel for the guy, but at the
Yeah.
same time, like, you date him, like your bloodline is gonna be fucked.
My first boyfriend was shorter than me. He was like 5'5".
5'5"?
Yeah, but he was so good at skateboarding, and he was very like.
So what? Oh, he could like ride on a board for a long time.
No, but he could like do airs like on a skate ball and like surf really well.
Mm-hmm.
So every time you would look at him and be like, oh my God, that's so hot.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
And he was like a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
Like he would
Okay,
spar.
yeah.
So I'm like, okay, he could like beat someone up for me.
I
Even though he's
understand
short.
that part of it. That's like, yeah, he's a protector.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you were young. Like when I think skateboarder, I think like 12-year-old.
I was
like
18, so I was
riding a
like, I was
scooter
so
around.
into it.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
But you were already tall at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I was about as
so
tall.
you were towering over him.
Yeah. But I think, yeah, it worked though.
I mean, as long as he didn't mind, obviously.
No.
Well, yeah, he's trying to save his bloodline. He's like if you like ended up with him, like it'd be fine, but like you're fucked in the afterlife when your ancestors are like, what the fuck, Kendra? We could have had D1 athletes. Now we got some Oompa Loompa leprechauns running around trying to get their Lucky Charms back. Jesus.
That's so funny. At least they'd be good at skating.
Yeah, that's true. They'd be great skaters. Surfers, they'd be really good. Low center of gravity.
Yeah.
Easier to stay on the board,
Mm-hmm.
So other than the ambition thing, what else is your type? Do you have a physical type or no?
I don't know. I don't think I do on paper, but when I look back at people I've dated, I do apparently have
Which
a
is?
type. I've dated a lot of like Latin people and white people mostly. Not on purpose.
Yeah.
It's just how it happens.
Subconsciously on purpose.
Yeah, I guess.
I was picturing like tall, tan, white guy, like tribal tattoo around the bicep. Surfs every day, long hair.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. and then other than so you said money doesn't matter, just ambition.
I suppose, yeah.
Or did I change your mind on that?
Well,
with the HelloFresh story.
I'm
saving girls one at a time.
I'm not gonna lie, like if there was a guy who's like, I work a minimum wage job, but he had like a heart of gold, I'd be like, you're so great, but like if I married you, are you gonna be able to provide for my children? I'm not sure.
I got to fight with my mom about this.
Really?
Yeah. My mom, because she's from Wisconsin. She's like, Zach, you always date these like models and actresses. Like, you should just date a girl with like a great personality.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, mom, let's do the math, right? Does there exist beautiful girls with great personalities? Yes, of course. And then there exists ugly girls with great personalities. So, like, of course I'm going to choose the beautiful girl who also has a great personality. And I think it's the same with, like, there's rich guys with great personalities. Mm-hmm. Like, people just assume, oh, he's a rich guy, so he must be, like, an asshole, narcissist, sociopath, whatever.
Yeah.
Or he could just be a rich guy with a great personality.
Yeah.
Like, of course you're going to want that if you have the opportunity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
No, that's fair. From a guy's perspective, because I know, like, women, it's always like, okay, you date a man because he's well off and he's driven, maybe he's rich or has a company. It's like, because I think women look at men as like, he's a provider. Is there an equivalency for women from a guy's perspective?
From a personality standpoint?
Personality, or like anything like that, where it's like you date a man who's like rich and has his shit together. Is there something that's equivalated the vice versa?
Just be super hot. Like, not for me. Like, I'm very shy and romantic, so like I only care about personality, character, and morals and values. But like for all the other guys, yeah, be really hot. It's like the hotness is what makes him want to date you, but then to stay in the relationship, I think it's two things. It's guys, number one, want to feel like a man, right? And so they want you to be like feminine,
submissive.
Yeah, maybe a little bit submissive, and not in a submissive way of like, oh, you're his slave and you do everything he says.
But like he's a leader.
Yeah, like he wants to take control. Like, and I get it, like from a girl's perspective, because girls all the time say on this thing, they're like, yeah, but the guys aren't leading. I'm like, yeah, because you're dating these fucking
the wrong
Gen Z
ones.
fucking
You're dating,
dudes,
yeah.
get their furniture off TikTok Shop and have a bed with no headboard. It's touching two walls like a four-person, just smashed up against the corner. I have no idea what a nightstand is.
I do that with my bed. I put it in the corner.
We need to get you some life skills, Kendra. We got to get you some 1-in-1 shampoo. Just shampoo. Don't put that shit in your dishwasher. Don't put laundry detergent.
Here's my problem, though. I move around a lot when I sleep, so I've fallen off the bed multiple times.
So you need the wall to protect you.
So the wall stops me.
Put some wall of pillows on the other side. A little barrier for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart. But yeah, so there's two things guys want. They want to feel like the man. And this is going to sound really egotistical, but it's true. Guys want other people to think, damn, he's dating a hot girl. Yeah. So like if you go out, guys want you to look nice, like dress up and like look the part. And don't get me wrong, I think the guy should take care of the guy part and like, yeah, open the door for you, pay for dinner. Don't do none of this TikTok. Oh, splitsies. Let me Venmo request you for the fucking Airbnb.
Oh my gosh, nah.
But if the guy's doing that, I do think the girl should also give the guy what he wants. Because guys don't care about buying overpriced food just because they put some Christmas tree lights up and pretend they put a drizzle over the steak. Oh, look over this amazing steak. Like, guys care about looking like they have the hottest girl in the room.
Yeah.
And girls care about being taken out on a nice date. And they like the feeling.
Being taken care of.
Being taken care of, yeah. So in my opinion, as long as the guy's providing what he should be providing, then I think the girl should also provide what she provide.
I think that's fair.
If you want to be strong, independent woman, I run shit, I'm a boss bitch, cool, but then like split the bill. No. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't have both sides of the equation. It's not fair.
I think it makes sense for women to, if you're with a true masculine man, it's easy. You don't have to be like, why isn't he doing this, this, and this? You're like, oh, okay, I'm good.
Do you like masculine men or more like the kind of femboy, kind of like, no, that's like in right now. It's very in. It's like the like shaven face and like they look like they're in a boy band.
No, I would say like an alpha masculine male for sure. Yeah.
Alpha male energy. Yeah.
Which one of your ex-boyfriends would you say is the most alpha? Which one of your ex-boyfriends would you say would beat up the other ex-boyfriends?
Probably the one I dated for like 2 years, only because he was the tallest. I would say.
How tall was he?
6'3", I think. I don't know.
So he was the one that you ran away from. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, do you know what he's doing now?
Yeah, he's like doing missions trips, and he's been all over the place. Like,
is that where they go try to turn people into Christianity?
Yeah. Okay. He was Christian, so was like in Costa Rica and like all these different places. Yeah. If you
could go back in time, or is he ready to get married now? Or like settle down or whatever?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I have no idea.
He's still okay.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was because you were saying that's what the reason was. Like he wasn't ready to settle down. Do you like how did that come about? Like, did you guys have a conversation and he was like, "I'm not ready," or did you just?
Yeah. I think it was kind of like the whole time. I knew like he had his own personal things he was dealing with like internally. Sure. So I don't think he was in a place to be in a relationship necessarily, but we just got along really well and dated for as long as we did. Mm-hmm. But I think he still had a lot of like internal things he was going through before. Yeah.
So do you feel like a lot of the guys that you date have the same problem?
No. I think like boyfriends I've had, they're all very different people.
Why isn't it working out?
What was that?
Why isn't it working out?
I don't know. I think some people enter your life to almost like be there to teach you something, but they're not necessarily like end game.
You don't date to marry?
I do. Yeah.
You do date to marry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I'm very intentional with dating. Yeah.
So every time you start dating a guy, you're like, okay, I'm going to spend my time to try to make this work.
Yeah.
But you don't think they're doing the same?
No, I think they are. What?
So I'm very confused why it's not working out.
What's not working out?
The relationships.
Oh, well, my last relationship, he just moved to Kansas, so that's why that didn't work.
And you didn't want to move with him there?
Would you want to move to Kansas?
I don't know. You've moved like 20 million times to anywhere and everywhere. So it's like, it wouldn't be shocking if you went to Kansas.
Yeah, you don't want to move to an ugly person state, though. You know,
no.
At least move to a hot person state. Like
there is no ballet in Kansas.
There's no ballet.
Or surfing, for that matter.
Or culture.
Well, it's funny because I didn't know this, but there's actually a lot of stuff going on in Kansas.
Really?
Like Kansas City. Well, I mean, the Chiefs are there.
Taylor Swift is there.
Taylor Swift is there. Yeah, there's actually a pocket of like high industry in Kansas City I did not know about.
Crazy.
Yeah, like a lot of rich people like randomly in Kansas.
Yeah, they probably manufacture the gear parts that make like the factory settings for like.
Yeah, and it's so cheap out there, so it's like they can live in a massive house for like $1 million. $1 million in LA would be like
a shack.
Yeah,
on
like
the side
nothing.
of the road. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, we were living in Hawaii and he moved to Kansas, and it's like, how do you compare that?
That's your last boyfriend. Mm-hmm. And so he leaves Hawaii and you're like, okay, I've got nothing else to do here. Let's go to LA.
Well, yeah. And I was also flying back and forth from LA and Hawaii to work some modeling jobs and runway shows.
So for the past 6 months, you haven't been dating anyone?
Oh, I have.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Now you're in a relationship?
Still like
kind of
situationship. No, but just seeing like where things go, taking it slow, I guess.
So still dating?
Yeah.
Okay. Not a situationship, not a relationship, still dating.
Yeah.
Okay. How long has it been?
A few months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like a couple months after you moved, you met him?
Yeah.
Very quick.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the 3 loves theory?
No, tell me about that.
So everybody in their life has 3 big loves. Mm-hmm. So you have your first love,
yeah,
which is new and exciting. You think it's going to last forever because you just don't know any better, right?
Yeah.
Second love is your toxic love that just breaks you and it teaches you the tough life lessons and the things you don't want to learn about yourself, but it forces you to grow.
Yeah.
And then your third love is like after you really figure out what kind of person you are, what kind of partner you want, what you genuinely want in somebody, not what society says you should want in somebody, but what actually makes you happy, that's when you find your soulmate. And that's you actually are ready for your soulmate because you went through all these other experiences.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's fair.
Do you think you've gone through all 3?
Yeah, well, not all 3, but definitely the first 2.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, my first boyfriend, we were actually talking about getting married at one point, even though
Same with my first girlfriend.
Yeah, we'd only dated like a year, but it was like, oh my gosh, like I just am so in love with him. Like he's actually the reason I moved to California originally. Mm-hmm. And so it was like, he's the one, like I was just head over heels type thing. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And then obviously like I'm 18, so like you don't even know who you are yet. Mm-hmm. So
but you think you do.
Yeah, you're like, I know everything, like when you're, it's funny because the older I get, the more I'm like, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
When you're young, you have this like false confidence of like, this is it type thing. Mm-hmm. And then, yeah, I've definitely been through the one that I was so into, but it shaped me as a person.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think now when I date, I'm like, I know what I don't want. Mm-hmm. So I can be more like on the nose with like, okay, yeah, this person is worth investing in and getting to know better, if that makes sense.
You have the wisdom.
Yeah.
You have the wisdom that you didn't have before.
Yeah.
Yeah. My first girlfriend. So back in high school, I was super fucking awkward. I had like very like Catholic parents, and like everybody made fun of me because like my family was poor. So all these little kids with their they all had the same shirt. It was like the little polo with the guy and the horse. You know what I'm talking about? And it's just different colors. They all have the same shirt, different colors, just clones, just fucking making fun of me. I still hate fucking Ralph Lauren to this day because of those fuckers. So I was like super lonely, and I just wanted a girlfriend so bad because I was like, you know, we can hang out, we can like watch movies, we can go on dates. And one of the football players started this rumor that I was gay because I was like, never talk to girls because I was like scared to. So I was like, and I can squash these rumors at the same time, right? So my junior year, one of my friends is like, yo, this girl Julie wants you to ask her to prom. And I'm pumped. I'm just like, Zach, don't fuck this up. This is your shot. This is your shot. So I go to her locker after class, and it was like the most like cringe, awkward. Like I like went up. I was like, hey, Julie. She was like, hey. I was like, you want to go to prom with me? She's like, yeah, of course.
Oh, that she said yes. That's
yeah,
good.
yeah. And then, because like she had liked me for some reason, and then I like paused. I was like, okay, bye. And I just like, ran away. Like I had no fucking clue what I was doing.
Yeah.
But we started dating, and I was like so like it was like the first time in my life that I felt like truly happy. You know what I mean? Like truly like content with my life, you know? And I became the biggest fucking simp loser guy. Like this is gonna make you cringe. I would literally wake up 6 a.m. every Monday, and I would drive to the Walmart between our houses, and I would pick up a package of the purple Skittles, the wild berry, because that was her favorite flavor, and some flowers, and I'd write a note, and I'd just like leave it on her doorstep for her to find.
Every day?
Every Monday.
Okay.
Every Monday.
No, that's cute.
It's not gonna be cute for long. Wait till the rest of the story. So then we go to college, and she went to like the private school right by our town. My parents couldn't afford it, so I went to UW Oshkosh in the middle of nowhere, Wisconsin, right?
Slay. Mm-hmm.
And I would call her every day. I was still happy. Yo, how's your day going? Blah, blah, blah. And there's always this guy that she would talk about. And she would say, yeah, he's such an asshole. He's so annoying. He was dating two of my friends at the same time behind their backs. They didn't even know. We hate this guy. I'm like, yeah, fuck this guy. We hate him, right?
Because you were long distance.
Long distance,
okay,
yeah.
Okay.
So then, 2 weeks later, I get a call from this kid from my high school that I like barely talked to. And I was like, yo, what's up? He's like, yo, like, I feel like I should just tell you this. Like, you were always like good to me in high school and stuff like that. But we're at this party last night, and we see Julie go into this bedroom with this guy. They're in there for like 30 minutes. Everybody's saying they hooked up, right?
Oh, no.
And I'm like, what guy? And he's like, oh, Steve. And Steve was that asshole guy that she hated, right? So I start laughing at him. I'm like, ha, 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 she hates this guy. What? This is so silly. But the weird thing was, I felt like nervous in the back of my mind.
Yeah.
Even though I was laughing, I was like, there's no way. I couldn't shake this like feeling of like nervousness. It was like this intuition. So the next day, I drive to her dorm to like surprise her, right? And I knocked on her door, and I remember expecting her to open the door with like a big smile, like, oh my God, you came to surprise me.
Of course, yeah, because you're seeing your girlfriend.
And I just remember she opens the door, and she's just kind of like, what are you doing here?
Oh no, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like everybody's like starting this rumor about you. I just wanted to let you know, but like, don't worry, babe. Like, I don't believe it. I know it's like none of it's true. And she just looked at me, and she's like, actually it is.
Oh, she was on it.
She just admitted it.
That's crazy.
And the worst part to me was like, I'm talking to her and I'm like bawling my eyes out. I'm like taken aback by this whole situation. And she was just so like nonchalant about it. Like our relationship just like almost annoyed that I was like there and talking to her.
That's shitty of her.
And I still remember the last thing I ever said to her. I was like, Julie, like, I was the best boyfriend to you. I would do anything to make you happy. I just want to know why.
Yeah.
And she literally just looks at me. I remember she shrugs her shoulders like this. And she goes, I just got bored. And that fucking moment, I was like, I will never be this fucking loser again. Like, I will never be this fucking simp who gets tricked by some girl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I started waking up 6 a.m. every day, working on my YouTube channel, fucking going to the gym, like all this shit. And then became a fuckboy for like 5 years. Oh, no. I was just like, fuck this shit. And finally got over it, you know?
Yeah.
But it taught me a lot of things, you know? It taught me a lot of truths about life.
No, it's true. And it's also not your fault when someone does something bad to you.
Yeah, but see, people say like, oh, well, she was a jerk, blah, blah, blah. But I actually kind of disagree. Because, yes, she could have done it in a better way. She could have said, oh, like, you know, you're the great guy. You're just so nice. Never change. Some girl will be lucky to have you. But the reality was, like, in the weeks, like, after the breakup, I remember feeling like I wanted to be angry. But ironically, I was more so just, this is going to sound crazy, but like, I was more so sad that she didn't want me.
Yeah.
And it's like, I should be the one like, fuck you, I don't want you. But I was like, sad that I wasn't good enough for her.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean you're not good enough in general.
No, I disagree with you.
Really?
Because the reality was, I was really fucking boring at the time. I was so boring. But because of that experience, I like worked really fucking hard on myself, on my confidence and my sense of humor, my storytelling. And I got really fucking good at those things. And now, like, if I go on a date with a girl, like, maybe you like me, maybe you don't. But I never have boring dates ever. Like, it's always fucking fun. And it's fun because I put the team on my back and make the date fun because I have to, because of that experience that I went through. So in a way, like, I'm glad she did it in that way in the long run versus just being nice. And then I'm just boring the rest of my life and just get like friend zoned by girl after girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's good. It shaped you as a person then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you realize like, okay, a rejection, you can do one of two things. You can either be like wallowing in your self-pity or you can go the other way and like, okay, well then I'm going to work on myself so that doesn't happen again.
Exactly.
Seems like what you did. Yeah. Which is positive, I think.
But you kind of did the same thing with your whole disease thing, you know?
I suppose, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I can choose to be this girl who went through that, or I can choose to be the girl who perseveres and keeps going.
Yeah. So do you think you're going to find the third one soon? The soulmate?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of times in my past I've tried to plan out things and be like, I'm going to be married by this age and have kids or whatever. But I feel like at this point I'm like, I don't know. I feel like it's just a blank slate and I'm kind of just letting things come as they come. And I think that's healthy.
Do you believe in manifestation?
Philosophically, yes. I think spiritually, no.
Explain.
Okay, philosophically and logically, I think if you're like, I'm going to manifest a house, right? I want to manifest a house. I think if you have a goal set in your mind, you're more likely to along the way make the choices that lead you up to the house that you got. And you could say, I manifested it, but really, in a logical sense, what you did is you got a better job. You went to college to get a degree. You made these things. Maybe you made these business transactions to get the money to get the house. Like, but because you set that goal in your mind, like, I'm going to get it.
Finally. Someone with more than 2 brain cells riding around their skull that understands how manifestation works.
I think that's...
Unlike Mo, who thinks the universe drops things on your head if you think about it too many times.
Yeah, and I think that there's a difference between, like, divine intervention, where, like, you pray for something, and maybe things come in your life that are better than you even asked for, type thing. So it's like, I'm praying for this... an example like this job, I'm praying or manifesting, I really want this job. And I think like, yeah, you can manifest it, but from a spiritual sense, I think you can pray and then you can receive things that are better than you even asked for, that you wouldn't have even thought of, but you're like, this is it. This is what I actually needed.
So you put in the work to get to that first level, and then it's like, there's so many more rewards that come as of that.
Yeah. Definitely. Because, you know, I believe in God. Honestly. And it says in the Bible, God gives us more than we can ask, think, or imagine. So if you pray and you say, God, I want this, God's going to be like, okay, but I actually know what you really need. And he's going to start putting things in your life that you wouldn't even have imagined that are better. And you're like, oh my gosh, like you love me so much that like you're giving me things like I couldn't even have thought of myself, but it's like what I really needed type thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What's the thing you've manifested in your life that you're most proud of?
Most proud of?
Besides the van. The van's pretty sick. But...
No, for sure. I think friends, like really solid groups of friends. And I think the people you surround yourself with are so important. Like I have a really solid group of friends out in Hawaii, and I met them my second year out there, and like everyone's super fit, super healthy. We all like to free dive and surf or go on hikes. And I think it's just like you surround yourself with really good people, and it like shapes you into the type of person that you want to be.
Yeah. Awesome. All right, cool. This has been very fun. Kendra, any social media shout outs or anything you want to give?
Oh yeah. I'm on Instagram, Kendra_is_outside. And that's about it.
Awesome. Well, we'll have to do round 2 sometime.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Thanks for listening.